What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sport to Jake. Hope we're all doing well. So we have Redbox already with me today. How's it going, Redbox?
Good. Just finished school, so I'm just relaxing for a couple days before I start really doing anything again.
Good for you. That's awesome. But let's get right into it. So we're gonna talk some basketball first. Playoffs is underway. We had the play-in ended. I last did a show on Thursday, so I'm backtracking a little bit. We had the Magic just clothesline the Hornets in the last round of the play-in. I thought Charlotte would beat them. Didn't happen. Magic win 121 to 90, 25 and 6 assists for Paolo Banchero. So Magic move on to the first round. Hornets are eliminated. And the Suns beat the Warriors 111 to 96, 36 and 6 rebounds for Jalen Green, who big playing tournament for him. Golden State goes home. Rough game from Stephen Curry. He only had 17 in the game. I think that's his worst in a playing game, and he's played in a bunch of them over the last bunch of years. So Suns also move on to the postseason. Saturday was the first round of the playoffs, the beginning of it. Cavs beat the
Wow.
Raptors 126 to 113. 32 for Donovan Mitchell, 24 for Archie Barrett Milos. I know Redbox with us. He is a Raptors fan, so tough loss for Toronto, but still got a whole series. Cavs win by 13 in game one. Denver, Minnesota. Denver wins 116 to 105, 25, 13, 11 for Nikola Jokic. Knicks beat the Hawks 113, 102. Got a little close in the end. Knicks are up relatively big, pushing a 20-point lead in the last 5 minutes. Atlanta goes on a run late in the game, made it like an 8-point game in the final 2 minutes. Knicks end up hanging on 113 to 102, 25 and 8 for Karl Anthony Towns. And then Lakers beat the Rockets 107-98. A lot of injuries in that one. Lakers are still without Luka Doncic and without Austin Reeves, but they get it done. The Rockets didn't have Kevin Durant in this game. He had a knee injury. He did not play in this game. So hopefully he's able to play in game two for the Houston Rockets' sake. And then yesterday, the Celtics just beat the brakes off the Sixers, 123 to 91, 26, 11, and 7 for Jason Tatum. That's looking like it's going to be a short series. Philadelphia obviously has no Joel Embiid. Not that he would lead them to a series win, but maybe could
No.
help them steal a game. But I don't know if that's even going to happen now. The Thunder completely destroyed the Suns, 119 to 84. Wasn't even remotely close. That will also be a very short series. Magic, the big upset, beat the Pistons 112 to 101, despite Cade Cunningham having 39 points in the game. So Magic take game one in Detroit, so a huge win for the 8-seeded Orlando Magic. Of course, Pistons, they are the number one seed, but Cade Cunningham missed a lot of the home stretch with that lung issue. He came back the very end of the regular season, and I mean, he looked great. He had almost 40 points in game one, but obviously didn't get any help. And the Magic were able to beat the Pistons in game one on the road, so see where that series goes. And the Spurs beat the Blazers 111 to 98, 35 for Victor Wembanyama. I'm expecting that to be a relatively short series as well.
I mean, the playoffs so far have just been so forgettable
It's
to me.
been pretty boring.
Aside from 2 or 3 games,
Yeah.
I mean, I I watched some of the Pistons yesterday. Obviously, that was a great game. I wanted to watch the Thunder game, and I looked at halftime. It was up by like 20, and I'm
No,
like, no point.
not competitive at all. And yeah,
Uh,
Foursquare Sports just said in the chat, Sixers fans chanted, we want Boston after they beat the Magic and in the play-in. Is it me or does that never work? I don't think I've ever seen that work ever. Every fan base that chants, we want this team after they win a game, I feel like every single time that happens, that team just gets spanked in the next round. That
yeah,
that never works.
I mean, the plan's still young, so
Yeah,
we don't have a huge test pool to go off of.
right.
But I agree generally. I mean, I'm not a fan of the play-in to
Me either.
begin with.
I'm
I
not.
think it just puts undeserving team. I mean, it's more games, more money. I get it, but
Yeah.
it puts undeserving teams uh, much further than they should be. And I think game two tonight for Toronto, if we don't at least keep that close, we cannot go home down to Cleveland.
That's good. That's always a tough spot to be in for
We
sure. for
We
sure.
just can't.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the play-in either. Same reasons as Redbox. It just, you got teams winning 37 games. They shouldn't be able to make the playoffs, and then now they are. And Redbox hit the nail on the head. Why, more games equals more money for the league. Same reason why the NBA is trying to expand. They're going to find, look at the Seattle team again.
This year was just an unequivocal disaster. They put
Yeah,
the entire thing on Prime
I
Video.
know.
Prime Video crashed with 2 minutes to go in
I
the game.
I could not believe that. Like, how's that happen?
It's like, I
Come
don't
on.
going any worse.
Yes, you're right. Ridiculous.
I don't remember which game it was, but
I think it was it the Miami game
I
against
think so.
yeah, it was the Miami game against Charlotte.
We're exempt from that nonsense up here.
Right, yeah.
Our TSN and Sportsnet will still carry all the games,
Okay.
but like that's inexcusable to
Stunning.
me, especially if it's just extra games for the sake of extra games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Forrest Square Sports just said, I'd rather watch Turtles race, something I trust in Prime Video. Like, like Alex got
The only company that's worse than Prime Video at sports is Netflix.
yeah, oh my God. Opening day for baseball on Netflix was a disaster.
I I saw highlights from the broadcast, and it seemed way too
It
gimmicky.
was terrible.
It was like Netflix. Nobody is signing up to you guys to watch Major League Baseball. You're
No.
trying too hard. Just do the game.
Yeah, it's just utterly ridiculous. But yes, playing kind of ridiculous. Three more playoff games tonight. Raptors, Cavs game two. Hawks, Knicks game two at 8 o'clock, and 10:30 Timberwolves and Nuggets game two. Also check out the NHL playoffs we got going on. Of course, those games are always fantastic. And moving forward, we got NBA awards. Finalists were announced. Most of them I agree with for the most part. I'll talk about the one or two I did not. I have a light problem with. NBA MVP finalists were Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Nikola Jokic and Victor Wembanyama. Rookie of the Year was VJ Edgecombe, Cooper Flegg, and Colin Kneppel. The Defensive Player of the Year finalists were Chet Holmgren, Alstar Thompson, and Victor Wembanyama. The most improved player finalists were Nickeil Alexander-Walker in Atlanta, Denny Avdia, and Jalen Duren. Sixth Man of the Year finalists were Tim Hardaway Jr. in Denver, Jaime Jaquez Jr. and Keldon Johnson of the Spurs. The Clutch Player of the Year, which I think is kind of a dumb award, is Anthony Edwards, Shai, and Jamal Murray. And the Coach of the Year finalists were J.B. Bickerstaff in Detroit, Mitch Johnson of the Spurs, and then Joe Mazzulla of the Boston Celtics.
I'm very glad that Nikhil Alexander Walker is being recognized for what he's
Fire.
got. I mean, he was pretty good last season, but he just totally burst onto the scene this year.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the best groups of NBA award finalists I've ever seen. This whole 65 game thing, man, I think might be working.
I have to like, I know a lot of guys don't, but to me, if you're not playing in 25% of the games, you shouldn't be eligible for an award or an All-NBA team or something like that.
Well, and I saw a stat yesterday. Only, I think, 18 players in the entire NBA played all 82 games, and in the NHL it was like 100 and something.
Jesus. Yeah, not surprised.
I mean, it's a good first step if it gives us an award pool like this, and I mean SGA hopefully will win the MVP again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm one of the biggest critics of the NBA, and job well done.
Yeah, they don't get a lot right, but they looks like they got this right. But yeah, so my picks. I think the MVP is Shai. I think all three have had incredible years. Jokic averaged a triple double. But Wembanyama, his two-way impact is incredible. Uh, he's on his way to being the face of the league. But I do think Shai is the MVP this year. Once again, Rookie of the Year. Kind of a coin flip between Flag and Kneppel. It's to me, very close. I'm gonna go with Kneppel. He almost shot 50, 40, 90, which most guys don't do on a yearly basis. Rookies certainly have almost never done that. Flag probably might have a better career. than Con Kneppel, but I think Con this year should be the Rookie of the Year over Cooper Flag. I think Wemby's the Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think it's all that close to me. Uh,
No.
not the guy's averaging like 4 or 5 blocks a game. That's nuts. Most improved player. Now this one we got a contest. I'm gonna go with Deni Avdija. He had if you're watching the play-in, he had 4-1 in the play-in. He had a really good year this year. I'll take him. Jalen Duren, he was really good this year as well. He's a very underrated player. I'm not sure, like he's better than he was last year, but he's last 2 years he's been pretty consistently very good. And we just brought up Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He has a strong case as well. He played some really good basketball here, and he's always been a productive player for a lot of his career. He was good in Minnesota last year, but he was really good for Atlanta this year. Played well in game one against the Knicks.
And I feel like the other two, like in comparison to them, he's always flown under the radar a little bit
Yeah,
more. Like no one's really ever talked about him. I've heard Jalen Duren and Abdia, like you hear them
a lot.
some form or another every season.
Yeah, they're all different kind of players. Obviously, Duran's a true big man. Denny Avdia is forward. He obviously plays a lot of minutes for Portland. He's the guy he's basically their top scoring option in Portland with that team. And then Alex Walker's kind of just a role player on Atlanta, but plays his role very well. He's a very very good under the radar player for sure. And for sixth man of the year, I'll say Jaime Jaquez. All three I think are goodish players. Jaquez probably has the highest ceiling of the three. I'll say Jaquez should be sixth man of the year.
I
Uh,
agree.
Clutch player of the year. I think this is kind of a dumb award. But I guess you can give it to all three. I mean, not to, be boring, it should probably be Shy. That's probably who's going to win it.
Such a weird award to me.
I know, it's hard to really like determine like I don't know what the stats are for that. Like I got you can look at like, game-winning shots, maybe field goal percentage in the last 2 minutes of game and stuff, but like it's just like I don't know how.
I mean, there is a very slight difference in my mind between what an MVP and a clutch player
Yes,
is. It's
absolutely.
it's very small.
Right. Like to me, like I think Jalen Brunson is a very clutch player. Should he be an MVP finalist? No,
No.
no, at least not this year. So yeah, that's a weird one for Coach of the Year. I honestly thought Charles lay out a strong case to maybe be Coach of the Year. He wasn't the finalist. Now that these three guys aren't deserving, I think Mitch Johnson, stepping in for Greg Popovich, uh, and taking over the reins. That's a tough job to do, and he did it really well. Bickerstaff, I thought, did a good job.
You
He
got to give it to Detroit. You got to, I
Yeah,
think.
I think it's got to be him. He kept the Pistons took a major jump from last year after he made the playoffs last year. Cade goes down late in the year, and he kept them playing really good basketball. They hang on to the one seed. A lot of people thought they would drop in the playoffs. Didn't happen. And I mean, Joe Mazzulla did a good job this year as well. A lot of guys on Boston, a lot of people thought Boston was not going to be great this year because if Tatum was going to come back. I do think a lot of us maybe undervalued some of the other pieces that they have. Like Neemias Queta played some good basketball for them this year. Even Jordan Walsh played a lot better. They were Schweiman. So I think, they've drafted a couple of these guys kind of like later in drafts over the last couple of years. They need them to play bigger roles in past years, like when they won the championship 2 years ago. But they stepped up this year. I think people kind of forgot. They had some legit role pieces. They just didn't need to use because their team was so good over the last couple of years. But this year they needed them and then they stepped up. But I agree. I think you got to give it to JB Bickerstaff. Before I get to my Mets rant, a couple of extensions in the NFL. Niners extend Trent Williams, 2 years, $50 million, $37 million guaranteed. He was holding out. I feel like they redo this every other year with Trent Williams. He signs these short-term extensions all the time, mainly because he's an older player, but still a great left tackle. Might be going to the Hall of Fame one day as a left tackle. And when healthy, he's one of the best in the league still. So they extend him, so that ends his holdout. And the Cowboys extend Brendan Aubrey 4 years, $28 million. That gives him $7 million a year, which is a lot for a kicker. But he obviously is arguably the best kicker in the league. The only one that really compares to him is probably Cam Little, who had an insanely good year last year in Jacksonville. But Aubrey, I mean, the guy's good from basically 60 yards and then
Ran an extension for sure.
yeah. In fact, like at first when I think they were like weren't giving him a tender at first. People were kind of freaking out, like, why aren't you signing him? He's the best kicker in the NFL, arguably. But yeah, he's fantastic. Cowboys extend him for 4 years and $28 million. But I gotta talk about the Mets. This team is so pathetic. 11 games in a row. The season is already over. I don't understand how Steve Cohen waited and just tried to roll out all these part-time GMs to wait till David Stern's contract ended because he sucks. I call him Sir Dork a lot. Okay, he is a complete dork, pathetic Harvard douche, and he's just horrible. The guy sucks. Okay, you had that god awful pitching staff last year, and he brought in one starting pitcher in Freddie Peralta. Now, Freddie Peralta was very good, don't get me wrong. Great year last year. Was top 10 Cy Young. That's the one guy. You bring in one guy, you're still rolling out David Peterson and Kodai Senga after the years they had last year. I don't understand. Why is a team that whose payroll rivals the Dodgers in the third week of the season starting MJ Melendez as their fifth place hitter? Granted, he has hit the what?
Yes.
Like, granted, he's the only one hitting right now, which is really ironic. These last 3 games, Mets haven't hit over the last early ever, really since opening day, to be honest. But like, it's MJ Melendez is your fifth place hitter right now. Like, who would have thought letting your all-time home run leader walk out the door and replace him with Jorge Polanco, who just can't play first base, and now he's hurt. He hurt his hamstring right out of the gate. They just didn't put him on the IL. It was Achilles. Not torn, obviously, but like strained, I guess. They tried to have him play through it. He tried. As a result, he hurt his wrist. Now he's on the IL for that, which he probably needs to go on for his Achilles. Now he's out for his wrist. Soto was hurt, but he should be back soon. And Jared Young, who's playing well in a part-time role, he's hurt. It's an absolute joke. They're always starting this freaking merry-go-round in the bullpen. They brought in Craig Kimbrell. They rolled him out there, and he hasn't pitched horrible. But the fact that they had to go to him in the 10th inning of a tie game against the Cubs yesterday.
Used to be so good.
And yes, yeah, you're right. He used to be incredible. He is maybe the best closer of his generation, future Hall of Famer. But the guy's 1,000 years
For a
old.
while.
He's 1,000 years old, and
He was our closer after Andrew Miller, if I'm not wrong.
he was, yes, he was in Boston. Had some really good years in Boston. Obviously, had some great years in Atlanta. He pitched great really everywhere that he was in his prime. His prime was a lot longer than a lot of relievers' primes are. He should be in the Hall of Fame one day. But in the year 2026, Craig Kimbrell is not a legit bullpen option, and he's probably the Mets right now second best relief pitcher, maybe outside of like Brooks Raley or something. Okay, it's absolutely just ridiculous. And they can't hit. The only guys hitting right now are Luis Robert, Francisco Alvarez, and over the last week, MJ Melendez. Okay, Polanco has done nothing. Now he's hurt. Semien has done nothing. The guy traded him for Brandon was raking in Texas. Lindor is a joke. Like, he's a tough slow every year, but it's especially so this year. And something is wrong with him. He's making all these mental mistakes and these defensive mistakes. He just looks careless out there. Something is wrong with him. I'm sorry, the guy isn't a leader. From the rat versus raccoon thing with McNeil a few years ago in his first year, from booing the fans, and
The mistake of drafting Marcus Simeon this season in my fantasy league.
yeah, rough start for him. And look, he
Dropped him yet, but it's tempting.
it's I don't blame you. The next time you appear on my show, you may have already dropped him based on how things are going. And Redbox, I know you're based up in Canada. I'm sure you know a good amount of Toronto Blue Jays fans. Former Blue Jay, Bo Bichette.
Yes.
Bo Bichette has been terrible. He's been terrible. This is a guy who, everyone's like, oh, he's this great hitter with runs and scoring position. He's been horrific, like the rest of the team with runs and scoring position. They're playing him at third base for no reason. It hasn't looked horrendous, but it hasn't looked good defensively. He's not hitting. And who else is on this goddamn team? Brett
I'm
Beatty looks awful. Ventos had one little insanity run for a week. He's looked horrible since. But
Jimenez, he hasn't done anything either.
uh, who was that?
Andres Jimenez for the Jays, he hasn't done
Yeah, he's
anything.
he wasn't bad last year. I mean, he was good defensively, it's sure, like he's supposed to be. I know he hasn't. I know Toronto's also off to a tough start. I know. In the group chat we're in, I know a lot of Jays fans haven't been too happy.
And the Jays, I don't know. I can't chirp the Jays fans around me too much for obvious reasons because we are literally half a game better than them at the moment, and it's only because we won today about 5 minutes ago.
Right.
Um, but absolutely brutal. World Series finalist, I believe, before
Yeah.
the Mets tanked, they had the worst start in baseball. The Jays.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the Jays have a zillion injuries, but it's been part of it's been bad luck, part of it's been, I know that bullpen is really struggling. Part of it might be because they're being overused because the rotation is so hurt. But yeah, they're also tough stuff. But the Mets, I don't even know what to say anymore. They are horrible. I can't even blame the manager. He's managing the team that was put in front of him, and the team that was put in front of him is not good. Okay, they said improve their run prevention. If I hear Stearns use that term one more time, I'm going to punch something. Okay, I'm tired of that term. You look at the stats, the Mets are like top 10 in defense technically, but there have been a bunch of plays that aren't considered errors that should have been made. Robert had one game where he had a ball go over his head that shouldn't have. Couple of miscommunications between Lindor and Semien up the middle. Point that should have been made. Lindor's had a couple of balls he should have charged. He didn't. That led to a runner being safe. So there's just been a lot of mental lapses. Normally I would say, what's up?
Are you ready to say their season's over though? I mean, they're only what, a game and a half better than, or a game and a half worse than Toronto.
Yes, I'm definitely ready to say the season is over. I've seen this move before. I consider them done. Maybe they prove me
Well,
wrong,
one and a
but
half, one and a half.
uh, I I have zero confidence in this team, zero confidence in this organization, zero confidence in this general manager, zero confidence in this owner, zero confidence in this roster. Absolute zero. They're cooked, and I'm just tired of watching them. Absolutely tired of watching them. But that's my Mets rant. And last thing I'm going to talk some wrestling real quick and more the lack of wrestling that was WrestleMania. Redbox, if you want to hang out, you can. I know you don't really follow.
I will not have much useful to contribute here.
All right, but
They intentionally very much avoided WrestleMania all weekend.
you didn't miss much, trust me. So I'm going to talk about my disappointment.
That's what I heard. I heard it wasn't great.
Yeah, and just to go into the segment and look, night two was a lot better than night one. There were some good matches on night two. I'm very happy that Obafemi goes over on Brock Lesnar. I'm happy that Brock Lesnar retired the way he did. Everyone thought, Gunther was going to retire him at SummerSlam because it was in his hometown in Minnesota. I got like Brock. We don't need a dragged out 2 month thing. He shows up 4 times. No, he does his shit that he's the ring general and he retires everybody. And Paul Heyman comes out with Brock and is his mouthpiece because Brock can't talk. But so I'm very happy that Oba goes over. That was awesome. The ladder match was a lot of fun to watch. Penta retained, which was cool. Sammy and Trick Williams, that wasn't good. Again, why are all the celebrities involved? Why is Little Yachty, whatever his name is, coming out?
Ed Lily Yachty.
Yeah, he came out as Trick Williams' hype man. Some people like it. I think it's stupid. It was
That kind of stuff's been going on for years, no?
with Sami Zayn, I can't stand the sight of his stupid face. I'm happy that he got his knee. That he got his.
Yachty is not even like good anymore.
I know. Like, when was the last time he was even relevant?
Um, what was his last big song? Yacht Club?
Probably. Like it's one thing if you have a guy who's relevant now, but at least have a guy whose last good song wasn't one year ago.
We've been pretty good about getting people who are real. I know they had Logan Paul. I think.
Yeah.
I think isn't he an actual fighter now?
Yeah, he is a full-time wrestler. Yeah,
That is crazy, and at the same time, it's also not really surprising.
not at all. And then we had Finn Balor against Dom Mysterio. Balor came out as the Demon as it was already revealed a week before because TKO was that's supposed to sell tickets. It didn't work, but they tried, I guess. That's their version of trying, I guess. His face paint and his chest paint looked really cool. Happy he won. Match just kind of okay. I mean, I think we all expected him to win. Rear up against Jade Cargill was better than I thought. Jade was, I mean, her entrance was boring as hell as usual, but that match was better than I thought. Wish Io Sky wasn't a side character for this feud, considering she's the best wrestler in the world. But again, can't have it all, I guess. And the main event with CM Punk and Roman Reigns, I mean, everyone's saying it was great. I don't think it was that great. The match itself was pretty good. The ending was so stupid with CM Punk GTSing Roman. Roman falls into the ropes and falls back on Punk's shoulders, the same spot that they've done over and over again with CM Punk over the last 3 years. And Punk just collapses. Roman Small gets up before CM Punk and spears him twice for the win. That was so stupid. Horrific ending. Night one was an absolute joke. Every match was super short. Uh, TKO was completely taken over. Way too many commercials. The Hulk Hogan documentary that they were advertising, I feel like I've already watched it because they've shown so many advertisements of it. There's too many ads, too many commercials, and honestly, I'm out. I'm out on WWE. I've watched it for a long time. I'll always be a fan, but I'm out.
Once again, notice the pattern. Who streamed this?
Exactly. Netflix. Yeah, it's either up here in the state. In the states, you have to pay all that money for your ESPN Plus, or do what I do and find a way to get it.
I think
Netflix.
Netflix. I think Netflix produced it though, right?
They did, yes,
And they just contracted it out to ESPN in the states.
yeah. So, but yeah, so just pathetic. But yeah, I'm out on WWE. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you, Redbox, for hopping in. Thank you to Matt, Foursquare Sports, for helping in the comments. Till next time, so long, and have a great day.